Is welcome to my guest. His name is,
Yash.
and he is the world's foremost aficionado on being Yash, 16, and in the public school system. And Yash, you're going to talk to me about your thoughts about this, right?
Okay. So
Okay.
so I feel like the school system is pretty broken in America. The reason why I feel like this because I feel like I sort of agree with people who think like 95% of what you learn is useless in the future.
Why do you think it'll be useless in the future?
Some useless things you were taught in school was, I guess, raising your hand was a very useless thing you were taught in school because no one does this in the real world.
Okay, that's a great point, Yashi. But how do you keep control of a class of 30 kids
I mean,
without them using raising their hand?
I think you've learned in school is you've probably learned the type of class.
What is that? What?
I feel like this
Oh,
is
like cumulus?
yeah, I feel like this is very useless in the future because what job can you get when you need to learn this? What does it have to do?
Okay, I understand that. But I mean, I remember learning about the clouds. But suppose I don't know why we learned about clouds.
I learned this in second grade,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Have
And
you ever thought about clouds?
yeah, not really. But another useless thing another thing that's really wrong with the school system is the early start times.
Okay, talk to me about that because science shows that teenagers need to wake up later and go to bed later. However, we still have kids going to school at like 7:30 in the morning.
Most schools start before 8 a.m., which is very bad for teenagers. School start times are not designed for teenagers or young adults. For teenagers, waking up at 7 a.m. is equivalent to an adult waking up at 4 a.m. And going to bed at 10 p.m. As a teenager is equivalent to an adult going to bed at 7.
You make some really good points. Also, did you know that the school system hasn't really revamped in 125 years?
Yeah, the school system feels really outdated.
What would you change? If you could change three things, what would the first three things be?
Probably change the start times where school shouldn't start before 8.
Okay, so no start before 8:30.
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
Is this for all grades or is this just for
I'd say for high school.
Okay, so for high school. That makes sense because the body has changed by the time you go to high school.
Because teenagers have a later circadian rhythm than adults.
Yes. Okay, you always blow my mind with the things that you say. What's a circadian rhythm for the audience that's not here with us?
It's when the time your body usually wants to go to sleep and wake up.
Okay. Do you know your circadian rhythm?
I don't know. It's usually like 12 a.m. to go to bed, usually past 12, and usually at like 10 a.m. when I wake up.
Oh, wow. So school is hard for you if you want to wake up at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
How do you get your body up?
I don't know. I just wake up and I just sit down, just lay in my bed and I just use my phone and turn on the lights to see if it can get me energy.
Okay. Do you eat breakfast?
No.
Okay. So you go to school early, and what time do you have to be there?
7:44.
Oof, that's early. That's so you want it so that you wouldn't have to be there until 8:30, and then I guess school would start at like 8:55, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Would that work?
Yeah, and it should get out maybe at like 3:30.
Okay, that's fair. So you stay longer because you go in longer. You're good with that.
Yes.
All right, so that's a good change. I absolutely adore that change. What's next?
Guess it's the curriculum,
Mm,
but I don't know. I don't know if I can agree that 95%. I'm not done with school yet.
right.
So I'll just finish high school and I'll see if what I learned will actually be useful.
You know what? You have a brilliant way of looking at things.
Biggest problems, one of this problem, in my opinion, with school is the grade placements for a school level. It's how fifth or sixth grade can either be an elementary or middle school depending on the school district. And I feel like if you moved schools, like for example, if you graduated elementary school in fifth grade, but you moved to but then you had to move to like a K through sixth school, then you would get another elementary graduation.
Okay, good point. Do you think it should be universal in New Jersey where fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth is middle school and ninth through 12th is high school?
I mean, I think all schools should have sixth to eighth grade in middle school because 12-year-olds, I feel like 12-year-olds are too old to be in elementary school. Most 12-year-olds are going through puberty And I feel like they're too, which is why I do not think any 12-year-olds, I think it's very immature for kids at that age to be doing kid things such as playing with toys, playing on the playground. I don't expect that.
Okay, that's a good point. So at 12, you got to stop playing and get serious.
Okay? Some school districts don't do elementary graduations.
Right.
Some schools, because the problem is some middle schools, some elementary schools like mine went from kindergarten through 6th grade, and I definitely felt too old to be in elementary in 6th grade.
Right. But this is a new school for you. You weren't there the whole time, right?
Yeah, that was a new school. I mean, it's kind of too old to be in elementary because it adds too much extra, and middle school is just 7th and 8th grade. But people typically hit puberty when they start middle school.
Right. Right. And that's changed too. So what's your second change? I know the first change is the time to the school system.
Look, this is just my opinion. I think all 6th graders should be in middle school. They're too old to be in elementary. It depends on the cutoff date in your school district.
Okay. So the second thing you're changing is 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, middle school, period. Is that correct?
Yes, and it depends on the school's cutoff date. 6th grade is fine in elementary school if your cutoff date is at like the end of December.
Okay.
So that means you wouldn't have to start. But what if like it's like August? So that means someone can still be in elementary. And if some people gets held back, even 13-year-olds can be in elementary.
This is true. This is true. So when we hold kids back, should we have them in a different class or environment? How should we deal with that?
What?
If you have kids who are left back, but they're 13 now going into the 5th grade, right? Do we let them go with the other on point
Like
5th graders?
There are some people who are like 13 in 6th grade. Like there were some people that were 13 in 6th grade because they got held back.
Right.
And they were usually held back in like 1st grade.
Do we get them on track, or do we just say, hey, you got left back in 1st grade, you got to stay there?
Getting held back sucks because you feel too old to be in the grade you're in.
Right.
You're literally older than almost everyone in your grade.
Right. So we shouldn't hold kids back.
Yeah, unless they're failing really bad.
Okay. What's your last big change?
School lunch bad because of Michelle Obama.
No, Michelle Obama tried to make it good because she was making sure kids ate vegetables and fruit and exercise because American kids.
Isn't Michelle Obama the reason why school lunch isn't that great?
I think it's better because she got salads on the menu, fruit on the menu.
I like salads, so that's fine.
Yeah. Do you like your school lunch?
Yeah, it's actually good, in my opinion.
Oh, wow. I've never heard a high schooler say that school lunch is good. That's amazing. So 10 points to Summit. But what's your third change then? If the food is okay, we change the time that the kids have to be there for high school to 8:30 in the morning, and classes don't start until 9.
And should we make it so that means the countrywide, all school districts will be required to have 6th grade and middle school?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So we have 6th grade, middle school, 6 through 7. Is it 6, 7, 8?
Yeah, like
Okay.
typical, and it's where no school district is allowed to put 9th grade in middle school
I think
because that means you won't have a freshman year.
Yeah, that I've never heard of that. Are there schools that do that?
My tutor actually grew up really long time ago, and her school district actually had middle school as 6th through 9th grade. I've never heard of that.
I never heard of that either. Wow.
I don't think any school districts anymore in the U.S. consider 9th grade to be middle school.
I don't think so either, because that's pretty out there.
And especially Sandy Hook, which that shooting in 2012, that school district that elementary school actually went from kindergarten through 4th grade.
It did. Speaking of that, is that something you want to change as far as safety for kids? Because if you get a chance to reinvent the school system, what do you change? Do you change what you were saying about math and trigonometry? Do we need it?
Or about causing people to literally be an age younger than the average person in their grade due to their late birthday? Like, for example, a 13-year-old is a freshman in high school because they have a birthday that is after the first day of school but before the cutoff date.
Right. So what do you think should happen?
I mean, it's not a big problem. Like, the problem with being the age younger.
So how do middle-class people go to school? Most middle-class people, let's say they make between $50,000 and $75,000 a year, right?
Yeah.
How do you send your kid to college for $100,000 a year?
I don't know, maybe get a part-time job if you're in high school.
Wait a minute. So everybody just got to make more money, or is there another solution?
I don't know.
It's something to think about, though, huh?
Yeah.
This has been pretty amazing talking to you. Is there anything else that you'd like to share in this episode, our first episode? Yashi, I don't know. What's the title of this? Maybe it's Yashi Remakes the School System.
Yes. If I was the president, I would try to fix the school system and fix what is wrong with this.
Right. And you've told us a lot of what's wrong with it. Anything else that you see is wrong with it?
Like, if there were changes, I would mandate that all school districts will have to be put sixth grade in middle school. No school districts can have sixth grade in elementary school.
Okay.
Because most sixth graders are going through puberty because 12-year-olds are too old to be in elementary school.
Okay. I understand that. And what else? You're the president now of the United States. What else are you changing in the educational system?
And I feel like all fifth graders should be in elementary school if you have a December cutoff date. Because even with a December cutoff date, even some 9-year-olds can be in middle school.
Wow, I didn't know that.
If they have fifth grade in middle school with the December cutoff date, some 9-year-olds can be in middle school.
Okay. What has been your experience in high school? Do you like it? Do you look forward to going?
I mean, I'm not really enjoying high school, and one of the biggest lies you've probably heard of is high school is the best years of your life.
I've never heard, well, that's not true. I've heard it, but it wasn't true for me. Tell me more about high school. Did you think it was going to be like television, or what did you think it was going to be?
Like how television, you may have think of when you looked on television based on high school, you may think it was the best years of your life because of how they've been partying.
Right. In high school, they party?
Like high school parties.
I didn't have high school parties as much as we had college parties. Now, college, it was a great time. But I also didn't pay $100,000 a year. It was $15,000 a year, which is really, it's not cheap, but it's much more affordable than $100,000 a year.
And I've recently been noticing a bunch of literacy because I've heard about these stories about how this teacher said that his 7th grade students are performing on the 4th grade level, and another math teacher said that her 7th grade students have math level equivalents of a 1st and a 2nd grader.
Wow. I think that contributes to the pandemic a lot for certain ages, like the rising